So, I just did a video that talked very briefly about attachment styles and what is attachment, and I was talking about how people who are anxious tend to run after people who don't want to love them, or run from love is probably the better idea, and people who run from love run from anxious people, right? That makes sense. So they choose anxious people, and anxious people choose avoidant people because they confirm each other's view of the world, which usually is, for an anxious person, is when I love people, they leave or they're unavailable. And for people who are avoidant, it's when I love people or I let people love me, I lose myself, and they end up being needy, and they end up loving too much. So being able to actually just sit in the understanding of which one is more like you. And that's okay. You just have to understand which one's more like you. And the real simple way to do that is, if you have a real hard time asking for your needs to get met, then you're probably avoidant. And if you, or expressing your emotions. If you are someone who tends to overshare or spill your emotions onto someone, or get really anxious when they're not texting you back, then you're probably anxiously attached. So it's pretty simple, and the book Attached is a great book to read on that. I'm also going to be doing a webinar called Dating 101 that you should check out. The link's in my bio. It's going to be so fun because I'm also going to do the evolutionary psychology of dating and just understanding how to recognize red flags, all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to give you a quick understanding of why people tend to be anxious or avoidant. You can be both. And the reason you can be both, and they don't talk about this in the book Attached, is because you either are a securely attached person or insecurely attached. So this is the important, recognize this. So you're either secure or you're insecure. And the way to know whether you might be secure, and the defining characteristic of a securely attached person, is they say, my partner's needs matter as much as my own. Now recognize this. They depend on their partner, they need their partner, and their partner's needs matter as much as their own. Their needs matter. That's a catch. So a lot of people, they say that like 50% of the population is secure. I think that's total bullshit, personally. And you can be secure. Recognize that whatever your attachment style is determined usually with your primary caregiver, and it starts really early in life. And your partner's needs should not matter more than yours. So if they matter more than yours, then you're not securely attached. But it's determined early in life, but you can change it, right? You can change it. So your attachment system, because a lot of you probably haven't heard of this, is basically like a radar that is checking for the safety and security of the relationships you have. It's not just romantic. It happens in any relationships you have. You can have someone at work who triggers you the same way. You can have friends who trigger you the same way. And so your attachment system is checking, is this relationship safe and secure? If you get anxious, then means that there's safety and security that's not happening for you. So you need to ask for what would make me feel secure. You see that when you start dating, it's almost inherent that you're going to be insecure. So you have to recognize that when you're early on in the dating process, it's natural that you're going to be insecure. The other thing that's going to cause insecurity is if you're on the show The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, you're fucked. Because you right away have no security. So you know that they're not picking you, potentially. You might not get a rose at every ceremony. I mean, the whole concept of the show Attached, or The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, is hilarious and ridiculous. And if you think you can even have security when your partner is dating other people, then you're fooled, because that's not going to happen. Okay, so now let's review. The attachment system checks for the safety and security of the relationships. We're either secure or insecurely attached. And how insecurity shows up is either by avoidance or anxiety. So we either are chasing it or we're avoiding people loving us. When someone loves us, we're like, ooh, I feel overwhelmed. And then we pull away. And we might do this subconsciously. If you're poly, then your biology is also going to be in an inflammatory state, even if you think you're okay with the people banging other people. Sorry, that's the biology of it. Even if you think you're okay, you're going to have real powerful control of your nervous system. Like, we're talking like Wim Hof style. And I don't even know if that would help. But your biology would be inflammatory because your attachment system would be threatened. Can you change from insecure to secure? Again, good review. You can change from insecure to secure. All you have to do is learn how to create security. It's that simple. So if you're anxious, it's really hard to actually date people who are avoidant because they're going to automatically trigger your anxiety. So you could date someone who's secure who can teach you what security is. They also might tell you, like, your needs are spilling on me, like it's feeling needy for me. I need you. I've dated someone who's anxious. The question you ask is, what do you need for security? Now, with anxiety or avoidance, it's so easy to pivot between the two, to go from dating someone who's totally unavailable and then feeling maybe they cheat on us, maybe they leave us, and then dating someone who loves and loves and loves and is like all over us and smothering because we know they're never going to leave us. So you see how subconsciously we can pivot between the two, but we'll become avoidant because their needs feel overwhelming. So this also shows up, you could look at codependence, right? Codependence is also very similar to anxious and avoidance. So it would be a similar sort of energetic combination. And I think the most important part of all of this, all of you listening, is that you can change. That's the most important part. Everyone can learn to be secure. And the types of people you date might make you be avoidant or anxious too. Your partner could do something like you could see that they're texting someone who they have sexual chemistry with or something like that. Or you see them flirting with someone and all of a sudden you feel anxious. And it's not about acting crazy in that moment. It's about saying, hey, I saw this interaction earlier and this might sound a little weird, but I felt a little off about it and I just wanted to share it with you. Okay, so remember, you can change. Remember that the definition of a secure attachment is my partner's needs matter as much as my own. Okay, my partner's needs matter as much as my own. Not more than my own, not less than my own. More is not good and less is not good. So it is okay to need people and to depend on them. But picking great partners is such a skill set. So I need you guys to learn how to pick great partners. So to do that, you have to start to look for red flags. You have to start studying evolutionary psychology. I am going to teach this in my Dating 101 webinar. So remember that you can need your partner. That's okay. Depending on your partner is okay. And it's okay to feel anxious and it's okay to feel avoidant. You just don't want to let those feelings decide your behavior. So it's about saying to yourself, oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. What is it about this that is stressing me out? So if you're anxious, what is it about this that feels not secure? Now let me tell you something about avoidance. So if you're someone who runs from love and you tend to pick people who are unavailable, and you probably have more one-night stands. That's based on the research, and that's based on truth, because I've done that. You probably tend to pick people who are just out of relationships, and you probably tend to pick up or desire people who are not available in some way. It's okay to feel insecure, of course, because you feel insecure. So if you feel insecure, if you say it's not okay, then you're going to feel shame about your insecurity. All feelings are okay. You can have any feeling you want. It's about what you do with the feeling that matters. So if you feel insecure, what do you need to feel secure? What do you need to heal it? What do you need to feel like your relationship has dependability and security and safety to have needs and be yourself? Because what most people do is they try to get all their needs met in a relationship, or they get none of their needs met. So they're either too much or not at all. So if you're avoidant and you tend to run away from people who actually want to love you, the work is really yours. If you're dating someone who's anxious, you have to recognize that their anxious behavior is usually from the withdrawal. And I know this sounds kind of weird, because for anxious people, they can learn, they're already wide open, they're a little too wide open. They don't have good boundaries around their actual emotions, and they usually don't have great boundaries at all, and they ignore red flags, and they compromise themselves for love. But for avoidant people, actually choosing someone who will love them is very scary. It feels almost not conscious. Like, why do I keep picking people who are assholes? Or why do I keep picking people who are not great partners, who are totally unavailable? So just asking that question is great. Any acknowledgement of that truth is great. It's going to be very powerful for you to understand how to actually take responsibility for your choices. Now the next part is stop choosing people who are unavailable, because what that does is it stops fueling. And anxious people do this too. So let's just get this clear. Anxious people choose people who are avoidant too. Avoidant people might just put themselves in relationships with people who are unavailable, so they never have to deal with anything, or they cut them off as soon as they start liking them, because inevitably the other person will always start liking you if you're withdrawn. Okay, so it is about looking at your relationship to love and finishing the sentence, when I let people love me, they. And don't even think about it, just fucking give yourself an answer. When I let people love me, they. And write it in the comment what your answer is. Because I'm guessing it's usually some combination of like, leave, don't love me, cheat on me, reject me, abandon me. How can you hold space for someone who is avoidant? You have to call them out on their shit, and then you can't chase them. That's really it. You can be both anxious and avoidant, and I talk a little bit more about that at the beginning, and I'll save this I'll put it on my IGTV. So look at this. Leave, 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 destroy me, leave. When I let people love me, they try to change me. Okay, so leave, leave, leave. So the person who they try to change you, you're probably avoidant. Leave, leave. This would cause people to be anxious. Can hurt me. Leave, smother me. So you're probably avoidant. Leave, leave, become overly attached to me. You're probably avoidant. Disappoint me. Maybe avoidant. Let me down, get bored with me, yep, anxious. Take advantage of me, probably avoidant then. Right, so you can see how these smothering, probably avoidant. You can see how these behaviors and how becoming sex with me, you're probably avoidant. And all of you probably actually connect, take advantage of me, probably avoidant. Right, smother, yep, smother, you're gonna be likely get avoidant. If you date people who, if you feel like when you let people love you, they actually control you, smother you, do any of those things, get obsessed, you'll probably attract people who do that, but you'll be more avoidant, because it just makes sense, because you're avoiding an outcome that you're already familiar with, where that happens. And you might even spend your time, like, there's so many different ways that this can show up, so there might be some things that make sense to you. So just so as you're like processing this and you're like, that fucking makes sense, shit. Just start to look more into this. Of course avoidant people crave intimacy. It's just that they fear when they are intimate or they allow people in, they are afraid they're going to get hurt. Okay? So if we let people in, we're afraid we're going to get hurt. So this is, remember how you finish the sentence, when I let people love me, they. Whatever it is, your anxiety or your avoidance will be the thing that stops you from it will recreate that story. So you'll just recreate the story that you're always fearing. Or as soon as someone's about to change that story, you sabotage and run. Or you pick people who you could never change that story with. So do you see how that works? So when you answer the question, when I let people love me, they, the strategy of what you do, anxiety or avoidance or both, doesn't matter. It's just the thing that makes it so you never change the story. So your anxiety and your avoidance will likely just recreate that outcome. Like you'll pick partners who keep recreating that outcome, or you'll just never let that outcome change. You'll pick people or sabotage the moment that outcome might change. So I hope that makes sense. Am I attracting people who become obsessed with me because I know they might ever leave? Yep, that's a good one. Okay, so let's see here. How does secure attachment style answer that question? Great question. How do you stop picking narcissists? Stop picking them. It's actually that simple. Because there's red flags way early in the dating process, which I'm going to teach in Dating 101, the webinar. So, secure attachment style takes care of this because what we do is we say, if I was enough, what would I do? If I was worthy of a great relationship, what would I do in this moment? Would I have a conversation? Would I ask where I stand? If my needs and my partner's needs matter as the same, right? Remember, secure is defined if my partner's needs matter as much as my own, right? So your needs matter. So this is really important that you ask yourself, if my needs mattered, if I was worthy, what would I do? And then you fucking do that thing. I'm really sorry about that. You have to. You have to do that thing, and you're not going to like doing that thing. Just like if you feel overwhelmed and smothered when people love you, then you likely had really bad boundaries in the beginning. When people love you, they leave, you likely chase people who leave, and you just got to stop chasing them. All right? I mean, it is that simple. You want to fix your picker, which sounds like a dirty thing, and it is. I mean, in the end, it does become dirty because you probably have sex with those people. So you get it. But you want to fix the types of people you pick. And if you've already picked someone and you're in that sort of anxious avoidance spiral, both of you can learn how to change that because you picked each other for a reason, right? How do we get to a point where this doesn't happen? Well, the first part of always, if you're single, is recalibrating your relationship to space. You know, a lot of people say it's about recalibrating your relationship to people. I actually think it's more about how we dance with space between people, because that's the thing that causes the anxiety, is the lack of space or too much space. So instead of thinking about your relationship to the other person, think about your relationship to the space between you and the other person and building security with space. Because when anxious people tend to lose their identity, they give up who they are for love, and avoidant people are so afraid of losing themselves or getting crushed or being smothered or being controlled. So if you had controlling parents, that would make a lot of sense. So those people who are afraid of losing who they are, and so they're avoidant, they tend to have a really hard time asking for support and getting getting needs met. They don't allow people in. They don't allow people in. They have a wall. What you need is a boundary. A boundary teaches people how to treat you. You know, I say that walls keep people out, boundaries teach people where the door is. Same with anxious people. They have no walls. They have no boundaries. They're fucking just porous. Things just come in, they get walked on, they're doormats. Remember, they need to have boundaries. So both people need to learn boundaries. Both people need to learn how to relate to other people. And both behaviors hurt other people. So when we're anxious, we send the message that we don't trust someone. Remember that everything you do in dating communicates whether you love yourself or not. You know, and that's an important thing to recognize. Everything you do in dating says, I'm either someone of high self-worth or not. And so when we learn things about dating, like why men love bitches and the game and pickup artistry, what people are really learning, like how to send 8 texts to get the guy. Really what you're learning is how to pretend to be someone who loves themselves. And so you can go use those fucking texts all you want. You can go learn pickup artistry. I'll tell you right now, the most attractive thing you can ever do is actually become someone who loves yourself. So we're going to talk about all of this in Dating 101. I hope this video was helpful. Remember, whatever your attachment style is, you can change it. And it really is about asking yourself in the moment, if I loved myself, what would I do? Remember that. And what will happen is you'll start to love yourself. What will happen is you will actually start to believe in yourself because you'll make choices that reinforce that belief. Remember, everything you choose validates a belief about yourself. So if you keep shitty people in your life, or you don't share your actual opinion or your needs or your feelings, you are sending the message that your feelings, needs, and worth don't matter, that you don't matter. That's the exact message you send to yourselves. When you keep people who are shitty in your life, you send the message to yourself that you're worthy of shitty people. When you say no to a shitty person, when you don't pursue someone who's unavailable, when you say, actually, that behavior is not okay, you send the message to them that you fucking matter, and you also send the message to yourself that you fucking matter. And that's how you change your self-worth. That's how you change how you feel about yourself and what you believe about yourself. And remember that without making the choice, you can never change the belief. So what we believe about ourselves is evidenced by what we choose, and what we choose will change what we believe. So you have to change the choice to change the belief, which will continue to cycle and feed a system. And that symbiotic system is self-love and self-worth. I love all of you. You all have the best day ever. And I'm going to put, if you can't make the Dating 101 webinar, you will get a copy of the recording. And you'll have access to it for life. So you can take it over and over and over again. And I will be announcing a retreat in November. But I'll tell you about that later. I love all of you.